special guests who are giving a presentation about a topic we don't hear very often, and that is how did Big Bone Lick State Park become a park? I am going to introduce Don Clare, who is a local historian and a nurse, and he is going to do the honors of introducing our speakers this evening. Don?
Thanks, Patty. This is an honor that was given to me, and it truly is an honor to introduce these two living icons, my mentors.
This icon's about half dead.
And if it wasn't for these two gentlemen and their colleagues in 1950-ish, mid-50s, we wouldn't be here today as friends of Big Bone. As you know, Big Bone Park, and you all know the history, I'm not going into that, but Big Bone has been an international site known all over the world for 200-300 years and more. And Kentucky happened to be the owner of Big Bone Liquor. And for years and years and years, it's never had the recognition that it needs. Back in 1936, Willard Rouse Gilson, our state geologist, wrote this book about Big Bone. And he had formed a Big Bone Lick Historical Association with one of our own local authors, John Uri Lloyd. And that was the first attempt to get Big Bone recognized as, first of all, one of Kentucky's treasures, but secondly, recognized as a state park. I believe Walter Ferguson, in 1938, after this same issue here, went down the state to talk to our legislators about happening to start a state park up here in Big Bone. And unfortunately, that's when World War II started to broil, and it got put on the sidelines. So back in the 50s, Bruce and Asa, William Fitzgerald, scores of others got together again and made the Big Bone Lick Historical Society or Association. And it's my honor to introduce Bruce Ferguson and Asa Rouse, the two, I guess, historian laureates of Boone County and Big Bone Lick. So,
You'll notice deference to age, I'm going to remain seated because I'm older than Asa, and you can look and tell how old he is.
Thank you, Joe.
A year older, at least.
Yes, yeah. 1 year.
Yep. All right, we've been childhood friends, and last night I was so pleased to come over here to see my friend Asa hung in the Judicial Building. His portrait was hung in the Judicial Building. I knew if it had really been hung, there'd been a bigger crowd, but I mean, a lot of people there as it was. So it's such a pleasure to see him, and Doc and Jimmy, you all guys were there too. Great event, wasn't it? We're here tonight, and he's the only man that can really tell you when I'm lying and not. So I almost has to tell the truth tonight because he can check up on me. Yes, we go back into the mid-1955s, and we had some great people that. There's always been this effort to get a park at Big Bone. I mean, picking up another thing about as you mentioned, my father was busy on it in 1938, and because there's always politics in this crazy stuff, and his.
I want this back.
Yeah, you want that back. His college.
It's got the names and
things. Oh yeah, his college fraternity brother at Transylvania College was Amy Chandler back in the 20s, and Happy had become governor in 1935, and so my dad with a group of others in Boone County thought it was a good time to go for a park. Well, as Don stated, World War II came along too fast to make that happen. In fact, my dad in 1942 left for 36 months in the Marines. He got a commission by Happy Chandler. Got him the commission as an officer in the United States Marines. Be that as it may, in the early 50s, we started Ellis Crawford. Okay, I'm going to name people that it wouldn't have happened without Ellis Crawford and William Fitzgerald. I mean, it just plain wouldn't have happened. I was so busy trying to start a family and succeeded at that. And 5 children before when I finished.
Excuse me, that's his first lie.
What?
It wouldn't be here if it weren't for him.
Oh, no, okay.
That's a fact.
Okay,
Pure and simple.
we'll back each other up. That's only because I'm a little simple-minded. But William Fitzgerald was the brains behind it, the secretary treasurer. He wrote the letters.
He was great. He was absolutely great. But he caused you to hit the ground running. And when you hit the ground running, get out of the way.
Okay. Ellis Crawford to give the technical assistance that was necessary to show that there is something under the ground there that is valuable to mankind. So with those people going for it, how could we lose? And Fitzgerald, they both dedicated their lives to Big Bone. I mean, they didn't last, live forever like Asa and I. So I want them mentioned because they were so important to the fact that it came to be. We had such good help. There's on this whole, and on the political side, Judge Carroll Crawford. My God, what a gentleman. He was the county judge and stood behind this all the way when most people in the public office didn't want to get involved. He stayed involved from the get-go. And all the pictures I have here of Carroll Crawford, William Fitzgerald, Earl Wallace, who was the Wildlife Commissioner of Kentucky, Laban Jackson, who was the Parks Commissioner, and William Fitzgerald. That's their view. They're overlooking the park area. And this lower picture here, it's only fair to read the names. I mean, I can't remember them all. These are names out of the past. Dale Williams, he was a county commissioner at that time, lived there. Dolph Seabury, county commissioner, lived on Pleasant Valley Road. Pleasant Valley Road wasn't there when Dolph lived on it. It stopped at Gunpowder Creek. Beth and I couldn't even drive from Sugar Tit, Gunpowder, to Camp Orange Road because it quit at the creek. Dolph Seabury got that road built. This is history. Minor Clark, Assistant Commissioner of the Department of Fish and Wildlife. Don Hayes, Department Engineer. Earl Metcalf. Bruce Ferguson, President of the Historical Society. And W.R. Aerosmith. James Maynard and Bob Green. Robert F. Green is on that. There he is.
He's in the picture.
He's in the picture. Yeah. Okay. And notice 2 park sites set to get the booth. That was a fight because you have politics. Oh, the world revolves around politics, not common sense. We don't believe in common sense in this country. It's all politics. To get the park, the people in Pendleton County wanted a park. They wanted Kincaid Park. And they had, a lot of people love Pendleton County, and they ought to. It's a wonderful county near Falmouth. So we had to deal with the legislature. We said, if you're going to give Pendleton County a park, you're going to give us a park. And they said, well, if you're going to give Boone County a park, you're going to give us a park. So we played the game, both of us, and got the park. Both of us, but got the park. But they got more money than we did. And you'll read that in there. They said it'll cost the state $40,000 to build a park in Big Bone. Well, it's going to cost $80,000 in Kincaid. But Kincaid was in a position to make money. And Asa knows the struggle we went through with Henry Ward. He was such a smart man And he ran for governor, but didn't make it. Louis Nunn beat him.
Yep.
And he was the Parks Commissioner under, no, Combs.
Okay.
Combs. And so we had a fight, almost a strategic fight between Kincaid, Park, Pendleton County, and Boone County, who was going to get the money and who was going to get the approval of the legislature. All of this stuff is in these newspapers. They don't tell everything, not as much as I'll tell you, to be honest. But State Park in Boone has promised if citizens buy and donate land, okay, you get this story. We're supposed to buy and donate the land and give to the state. And, well, that's the rules they played by. Only if, and especially us, because they said Big Bone Park will never make money. All right. They hate the thought of making intelligence instead of money. You can't, we don't want brainy people, we want rich people in the state. So, that was the struggle, and you'll go through that in here. Anyway, these are now donated to Don Clare, who does a tremendous job of conserving. He has become the archivist, right, Don? Okay. And really, just interesting reading. Now, Asa, here's the map you and I have been looking at. And I think our gem was when we got the option on Hans property. You remember that? And you've got the letter there for Fitzgerald. Well, that's in Don's collection, where William Fitzgerald says, now keep it in mind, Fitzgerald collected the money. He got the money. It was my job to go to all the grade schools in the county and show slides out of Knight's book of Mastiffs and Mammoths. They loved it, Mastiffs and Mammoths, grade school kids. Of course, they get confused. Sometimes they say those dinosaurs. I say, they ain't dinosaurs, kids. These are mastodons. And there's millions of years difference between dinosaurs, but they're nevertheless, these are bigger than the elephants you're going to see in the zoo. I found out early on with Ellis Crawford, you could walk down the creek barefooted in the summertime at Gunpowder Creek and feel the bones, and this is the truth. I mean, it did it. And I picked up several pieces of tusk, only about that long. Janine's shaking her head. Oh, what do you? Yeah, but you can do that. It's a puppy property. And I would take these pieces of tusk to grade schools with me and break off pieces and give to the school. These kids were donating money to Big Bone. And we keep them tags. And by George, it's surprising with New Haven, Walton, Hebron, Verona, all the grade schools in the county. Keep in mind, there's more students in Boone County today than there were people in Boone County then. We have 15,000 people in Boone County. Today there's 115,000. So it was pretty tight then. With that money, gradually we did a tag sale. Ken Harper, you remember Ken Harper? He was state representative. His father was a wonderful guy, also named Ken Harper. They organized, Ken Harper organized a tag sale in Covington, got permission and everything, and we stood on the street corners with little cans, donate here for Big Bone Park. Gradually, we ended up with this outrageous amount of money to be able to buy the Hans property. Now keep in mind, that was 17 acres of ground